Imagine a nerve agent so deadly it's smeared on a door handle. A double agent and his daughter are poisoned. A mysterious perfume bottle. An innocent woman dies. And now, years later, a nation finally cracks down. Welcome to the moment Britain called out Moscow's secret war on its own soil. This is the story of betrayal, poison, and the long, slow road to justice. Before we dive into this shocking story, make sure you hit that subscribe button, like this video, and share it with your friends. Because what you're about to hear might just be more chilling than any headline you've read so far. It all started back in March 2018. A former Russian military intelligence officer, who had become a British double agent, Sergei Skripal, and his daughter Yulia were found unconscious on a park bench in the quiet English city of Salisbury. They hadn't had a heart attack or a stroke. They had been poisoned with Novichok, a military-grade nerve agent developed in secret during the Soviet era. This wasn't just an attack on one man. It was an attack in a public space with the potential to kill hundreds of innocent people. Miraculously, both Sergei and Yulia Skripal survived after weeks of intensive hospital treatment. A police officer who was one of the first responders was also exposed and became seriously ill, but he too recovered. The immediate crisis seemed to be over, but the tragedy was far from finished. Months later, in July 2018, a 44-year-old British woman named Dawn Sturgis found what she thought was a discarded perfume bottle. Thinking it was a lucky find, she sprayed it on her wrist, but the bottle wasn't filled with perfume. It was laced with the same deadly Novichok nerve agent used in the attack on the Skripals. It had been carelessly discarded by the assassins after their mission. Dawn Sturgis tragically died. Her partner, who also came into contact with the poison, survived but was left devastated. An innocent woman with no connection to the world of spies and secret agents was dead. This wasn't just an assassination attempt anymore. It was proof of the indiscriminate, terrifying danger of chemical weapons left lying around in a quiet town. For years, the world suspected who was behind it. But suspicion isn't proof. The investigation continued, witnesses were interviewed, and evidence was meticulously gathered. And then, everything changed. Fast forward to December 4th, 2025. After a long and exhaustive public inquiry into the Salisbury attack and the death of Dawn Sturgis, the UK government released its explosive findings. This wasn't some rogue operation or a mission gone wrong. The report concluded it was a state-ordered assassination attempt, and it didn't stop there. The inquiry took the unprecedented step of directly implicating the president of Russia, stating that he must have authorized the nerve agent attack on British soil. This was a bombshell. It confirmed the long-held suspicions that the Russian government itself had sanctioned this act of chemical warfare in the middle of a British city. The diplomatic gloves were off. In response, the UK government unleashed a wave of sanctions against Russia's military intelligence agency, the GRU. 8 specific cyber intelligence officers and several other operatives linked to hostile acts across Europe were named and sanctioned. The Russian ambassador to the UK was summoned for a dressing down, and Britain sent a powerful diplomatic message. We know what you did, and we are holding you accountable. The implications of this are huge. This isn't just a story about espionage anymore. It's a stark warning about the reckless use of state power and the terrifying reality of chemical weapons. The fact that a discarded perfume bottle could claim an innocent life years after the initial attack shows just how indiscriminate and long-lasting these weapons are. For the first time, the veil of secrecy that usually shrouds these covert operations has been publicly torn away. And it's made the entire world sit up and pay attention. These sanctions and diplomatic pressures are more than just symbolic gestures. They carry real economic and political consequences. They could affect Russia's international relationships, its trade deals, and its cyber operations for years to come. Allies across Europe and the rest of the world are watching this standoff very closely. Even for ordinary citizens, the ripple effects might be felt through increased security measures and a new era of geopolitical tension. But what makes this story so powerful, so utterly compelling, is the human angle. Dawn Sturgis was an ordinary woman. She had no ties to international politics or espionage. She was a mother, a daughter, a partner. Yet, she became a casualty in a global power struggle she knew nothing about. Her death highlights the true, devastating cost of these covert operations, the innocent human lives caught in the crossfire of political ambition. Her story is a heartbreaking reminder that these aren't just characters in a spy movie. They are real people. This also sets a historic precedent by publicly holding a foreign leader accountable for a chemical attack on its own soil. The United Kingdom has sent a clear and powerful message. No state is above the law. Covert crimes, no matter how shadowy, can be exposed, even years after the fact. This challenges the entire cloak-and-dagger world of espionage. It reshapes how the international community thinks about accountability, diplomacy, and national security. The revelations from the 2025 inquiry have reopened old wounds, but they've also forced us to confront the dangers that linger in plain sight. Chemical weapons like Novichok aren't just tools for targeted assassinations. They are indiscriminate killers. They pose a threat to anyone who might accidentally come into contact with them. This entire incident has proven that an object as ordinary as a discarded bottle can become a lethal weapon in the hands of state actors, with tragic consequences for innocent people just going about their lives. The story of Sergei Skripal, of Dawn Sturgis, and of the UK's long fight for answers is so much more than a spy thriller. It's a cautionary tale for our modern world. It's a reminder that power, when it's misused, can spill over from the corridors of government and into the lives of everyday citizens. It's a reminder that justice, even when it's delayed, can uncover truths that have the power to change international relations forever. And it's a reminder that we need vigilance, transparency, and accountability in a world where secret operations can so easily turn into public tragedies. Now, the world watches to see what happens next. Russia faces the prospect of diplomatic isolation, severe economic pressure, and global scrutiny. The UK has set a precedent for confronting covert state crimes head-on. This is a story that blends human tragedy with high-stakes geopolitical drama. It's a story about the dark side of international espionage, the horrors of chemical warfare, and the relentless pursuit of justice. It's a story of betrayal, of recklessness, and of accountability. It's a story about power misused and the innocent lives that pay the ultimate price. And it is far from over. The dust has finally settled on the shocking revelations from the 2025 inquiry. But what comes next? How will this moment reshape global politics, security, and what we believe about covert warfare? They also targeted 8 cyber intelligence officers and several other operatives linked to hostile acts across Europe, including alleged plots in Ukraine. Calling the act a reckless show of state power and a blatant disregard for innocent life. This isn't just symbolic, it's a clear message. Covert violence on foreign soil, especially using chemical weapons, will have consequences. So, what has really changed, and what's at stake? This bold move might push other Western powers, including the EU, NATO allies, and even neutral states, to seriously reconsider their relationships with Russia. Any Russian individuals, businesses, or entities associated with the GRU could now find themselves on blacklists, facing travel bans and asset freezes. This could ripple into trade, investment, and banking on a global scale. Russia's ability to move money, maintain overseas operations, or even engage privately with foreign partners could become severely constrained. The blow isn't just political, it's reputational. Countries and companies will now think twice before dealing with any Russian-linked organizations. This slows down Russia's global influence, shrinks its soft power, and forces Moscow into a corner, likely prompting a response of either hostility or outright defiance. Second, this has massively heightened security and risk awareness across Europe. The inquiry's findings expose just how dangerous state-sponsored chemical attacks can be, not just for the intended targets, but for everyday people. The path from a spy-ass door handle to a charity bin to the hands of a random civilian shows just how thin the line is between espionage and mass tragedy. For us, as citizens, it means we need to stay alert. This event has also raised public awareness and, let's be honest, a bit of paranoia about foreign interference, safety in public spaces, and suspicious items. It also makes us question whether law enforcement can truly protect us. Because the GRU is tied to so much more than just this one attack, including espionage, cyber attacks, and sabotage. Sanctions targeting it and its operatives will send ripples into cybersecurity, international finance, trade routes, and even energy sectors. For decades, covert foreign attacks, assassinations, and poisonings were often denied or blamed on rogue agents. If transparency becomes the new norm, covert violence becomes much costlier, and that could gradually deter these kinds of actions. The family of Dawn Sturgis, now vindicated, expressed relief that she can finally be laid to rest. But they also rightly condemned the earlier police mischaracterization of her as a drug user and the initial failures to assess the risks and protect the public. At the same time, critics are warning that it's not enough to just impose sanctions and assign blame. Meanwhile, Russia has publicly rejected the inquiry's findings, calling them politically motivated. Official statements call the sanctions illegitimate and promise retaliation. You might be thinking this is just a spy drama happening in faraway Europe. But the reality is, this matters to all of us. The cities we live in, or the places we might visit. No place is immune if covert operations like this continue to escalate. Understanding these threats is crucial. Policies on immigration, security checks, border controls, and international travel may tighten globally, affecting the lives of ordinary citizens. As global tensions rise, media narratives, international diplomacy, and even trade will all shift. These aren't abstract concepts. They could impact economies, job markets, and even energy prices far from Europe. Ultimately, this story is a warning. Unchecked and secretive power can harm anyone. Transparency, accountability, and vigilance matter more than ever. For the rest of us, it's a reminder to stay aware, critical, and engaged. In a world where power often works in the shadows, finding and shining a light on hidden crimes is vital. Justice delayed must not become justice denied. If you found this video informative, please like, share, and subscribe. Let's keep watching, questioning, and demanding the truth. Because silence and ignorance only help those who operate in darkness. Thank you for watching.